What if I told you that there are epic food stories that often go untold? Join your host, Seth, as he dives into the thrilling world of food challenges and competitive eating, interviewing those who not only take them on, but create them. Buckle up for the heart pounding moments, behind the scenes experiences, and the passion fueling it all. This is Food Challenge News.
Welcome back to the Food Challenge News Podcast. I'm your host, Seth, and today I'm joined by Charlie from Charlie and the Chew Crew. Charlie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome, Seth. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. And so, Charlie, you've had a busy year with food challenges, it seems. What have been some of your most recent food-inspired adventures?
Yeah, you're not lying. It's been a very busy year and a half for me. It's been a blast. I like to joke that the channel sits at the intersection of cuteness, chaos, and calories, and I think we definitely checked a lot of those boxes this year. Recently, though, the last month or two, it has been all about pizza. I've done a few solo challenges, a few team pizza challenges, and I think within a 4 or 5 week period, I think we ate close to 20 pounds worth of pizza. It was all delicious. Pizza is my favorite food by far. When you get to that like 8 or 9 pound mark, though, I need a good day or two before I plan to eat another slice.
What's the longest you've ever had to rest after like a pizza challenge?
I did back-to-back challenges a couple weeks ago. That was pretty painful, less than 24 hours. But usually I'll go a month and a half, and then I start to get the itch to eat several slices of pizza in one sitting.
I also love pizza myself, but I don't know if I could take on as much as like what you just said, especially back to back like that.
I love the motto, every pizza is a personal pizza if you try hard and believe in yourself.
So when did you realize you had the ability to eat big and then later start taking on actual food challenges?
Well, if you ask my mom, I've always had the ability to eat a lot since day one, literally. But I really probably didn't notice it until high school, maybe college, where yeah, I'd sit down and eat, and people were like, "Wow, that's incredible! Like, where do you put it all?" Because I was always pretty lanky growing up. I've always had that competitive spirit as well. So I realized, well, I'm good at eating a lot of food. I can get some free T-shirts while I'm at it. Maybe there's something in it for me. And of course, I got inspired. I started doing food challenges back in 2011, and that was the heyday of Adam Richman, Man versus Food. Randy Santel was getting foodchallenges.com right off the ground. And I saw a lot of intrigue there as a way that I could kind of turn something that we all do on a daily basis, eat, into a hobby with something a little more to it, added a little bit of that competitive aspect to it, and also add to my growing wardrobe.
So you've already been doing it a long time then.
It's going on, yeah, 14, 15 years. I took a break probably from 2016 to 2023, really just changing hobbies. Life, I wouldn't say got in the way, but life changed. Got married, had 3 kids now, and I kind of dove back into it last year, kind of on a whim for a family trip.
And what challenge was that?
The Crown Candy Kitchen milkshake challenge. It's about 120 ounces of milkshakes out in St. Louis. It's been on my bucket list for a long time. Adam Richman attempted it and failed, actually. So it was kind of one of my Everests that I always wanted to climb. And we were going out from Michigan to Branson, Missouri. And I said, well, now's as good a time as any. And I went on foodchallenges.com and saw there were a ton of other challenges between point A and point B. And I told my wife, I was like, hey, can you juggle a couple kids while I try to drink the better part of a gallon of milkshake and maybe do a hamburger challenge here, a hot dog challenge there? And she said yes. I don't think she realized what we were getting ourselves into, but a few dozen challenges later, here we are, and I've kind of rebooted that competitive eating journey I've been on for a while.
Did you end up completing it? Because I'm on the edge of my seat now. Did you take down, like, basically the gallon of milkshake?
Well, I don't want to spoil too many things. If you go to my channel, you find out for sure. But I will say that after all was said and done, I could literally feel the cold radiating through my sweatshirt. It was incredible. My son was 4.5, 5 years old at the time, and he was mixture of, I would say, awe and borderline disgust, which I think is right where most of my viewers like to sit.
So you call your audience the Chew Crew, and sometimes your family will tag along for these challenges. How did the Chew Crew come about, and what does that community mean to you personally?
Yeah, the name Chew Crew, I kind of waffled between a few different names, and I liked so Katini eats Kilo. She calls her followers the Kilo Crew, and I thought that was a nice alliteration. So I tweaked it a little bit to line up with Charlie and the Chew Crew. But really, what I wanted to do with it all, and it all stems back to that family trip I mentioned a little earlier, where most of the competitive eaters we watch, it's really just kind of a solo endeavor. It's the one person, usually a guy, wanting to try to eat as much food as possible or the spiciest food as possible. And I really wanted to include my family in that, and the kids, they get a kick out of it. They see it, and it's just incredible what Dad will try to do for a free T-shirt. And I wanted to capture that so that years, decades from now, we can go and look and be like, "Wow, that was a fun trip we had," or "That was just a fun experience we all got to enjoy together." And after that family trip, I realized I didn't have any storage on my phone left. And I realized, oh, you know what? YouTube is basically a giant external hard drive. So why don't I throw some videos on there, maybe add a little bit of commentary, and we can come back years from now and enjoy it. And lo and behold, there's other people that from all around the world also enjoy watching me eat ridiculous things. So it's kind of morphed over time, and the community that's come together, not just for this channel, but competitive eating in general. I've been blown away at how much support, love, and encouragement there all is. There's really not anyone that's trying to put anyone else down. It's a very supportive community, and I've really enjoyed that aspect of it. Something I never thought this journey would morph into for me, but I'm extremely grateful for the people I've met, the small business owners and restaurateurs that host these challenges, and the communities that come together for festival contests and all other sorts of eating events. It's been an awesome ride.
Sounds like you're happy to be part of it, and like you said, you're creating everlasting memories too at the same time.
Exactly. Yep, you nailed it.
So let's dive into food challenges because you've tackled some wild ones. In September, you posted the 27-layer stacked burger challenge in Michigan. That is an absurd amount of layers. Were you intimidated going into that one?
When you say it like that, it definitely sounds larger than life. And when they set it down, it's one of those things where you're like, okay, is the table reinforced well enough for it? Because it definitely plopped down, and my kids' eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets when they saw it. Um, I wouldn't necessarily say competitive eating is a sport like hockey or football, but I'm a strategist at heart, and I kind of align it to watching film whenever I can see other competitive eaters posting their videos, and I'll kind of critique and say, oh gosh, that was a really smart move, or oh, that's going to be a tough part of the challenge. I really need to focus on how I'm going to attack it. And fortunately, this challenge, couple of videos, Molly Schuyler actually did two of those challenges at the same time. So watching her devour those was it. I would say it excited me to attempt the challenge, and also made me a little scared. Just watching Molly eat is impressive in and of itself, but seeing the sheer size of that burger, there was definitely some intimidation factor. But I also, when I actually sat down to eat it, I hadn't eaten for almost 24 hours, which is a little longer than I like to go, but I was so famished. You probably could have put the better side of a cow in front of me, and I probably would have just grabbed a fork and gone at it.
I think you said your favorite layer, correct me if I'm wrong on this, was the onion ring layer.
Those were so good. I mentioned in the video that I have a ranking system of my favorite onion rings, and as ridiculous as that sounds, They were some of the best, no joke. I've gone back just to have a side of their onion rings. They do a great job at the barn door, and I've actually I joked but didn't joke with the owner that if there's ever a need or a desire to create an onion ring challenge there, call me up and I will eat as many pounds as they put in front of me of onion rings.
And I have to ask, was that a real beer with the challenge, or was it just a root beer? Because my mom actually wanted to know that too. She's like, make sure to ask Charlie, was that a real beer with the challenge or just a root beer? She was really wondering.
So I will not only confirm that it was a real beer, but they asked me if I wanted regular or a large, and I had to go with the large. It's one of my my favorite beers, the Keweenaw Brewing Company Widowmaker. I did my undergrad up in the Keweenaw Michigan Tech, and that's the main brewery that's there. So whenever I can find it on tap in the Lesser Peninsula, I always make sure to get a big glass of it, and I definitely enjoyed it. It definitely paired really well with the richness of the meat, and it helped chase off some of the flavor from that hot sauce that they include with that challenge.
Well, that's right. There was hot sauce with that. How much hot sauce was required for that challenge that you had to take down?
Oh, they called it a double shot. I think it was around 3 ounces, and it was definitely kind of like a Tabasco, very vinegary, a good pepperiness to it. It definitely. I was going to save it until the end as kind of a victory shot, but I dipped a couple fries and I was like, "Ooh, this has some zing to it." I don't want to necessarily finish on that spicy note, but it's yeah, it definitely had some heat to it.
So what's your current total victory count for food challenges? Like, do you actually keep track or do you just go with the flow?
Yeah, I'm a hardcore Excel nerd, so I have a spreadsheet of every challenge I've ever done, my time, the weight of it, details on what the challenge consisted of. So I'm 53 and 2 last time I checked, and that's restaurant and person versus person contest. I don't include some of the in-home challenges I've done with the kids. But yeah, for restaurant ones and ones where usually T-shirts are on the line or free meals, I'm 53 and 2. So uh, pretty darn good record. I actually lost my very first food challenge. I had no idea what I was doing, didn't train, and yeah, it was a six-pound burger and fries challenge in Wisconsin. That next time I'm passing through, I will be stopping and trying to redeem myself on that one.
So what inspired you to keep going after that first loss?
I'm just a glutton for punishment, Seth. Uh, I was still definitely in the throes of watching Adam Richman on the Travel Channel, and I mean, YouTube was still kind of in its infancy, but there were a few competitive eaters that were starting to have channels pop up, and I just thought it was so amazing. You'd watch this massive platter of food plop down in front of someone. There's no way they're going to eat half of that, much less all of it. And you start watching and you realize you're rooting for them and you're getting like like excited and just watching them, and it's almost at the edge of your seat. And that allure, just it's that competitive nature in me, my love of food, and really just trying to push myself. I know people ask, why do you do that to yourself? And it's like, well, why do people climb Mount Everest? I mean, it's because it's there, because it's the adventure, the journey, the challenge, the will to overcome adversity. So I wouldn't necessarily say eating a large pizza matches up to scaling a giant mountain, but they're pretty close in my book.
Have there been any unexpected outcomes, whether it's good or bad, from a restaurant food challenge that you've taken on?
I'd say there's two main things that were kind of serendipitous and pretty awesome through this adventure. One of them, and it's the most common question I get when I mention to people that I do food challenges. They look at me and go, "How are you not 500 pounds?" And my snarky answer is math, because I usually live in a calorie deficit most days, so it all kind of evens out. But from doing food challenges, I've actually learned so much more about nutrition, health, and fitness that I'm ironically in the best shape of my life, which is incredible to think about it because it's, one day I'll eat 8, 9,000 calories worth of food, and then it's back to the grind for the next however many days or weeks where I eat a lot of broccoli and just really dial in macronutrients, overall calories, and trying to maintain a fitness regimen so that I'm at my best going into a challenge. So nutrition was a happy side effect, or improving my nutrition. The other, as I mentioned before, was the community that I've found with competitive eating. I actually, one of my really good friends now reached out after he saw a picture of me at a winners like Wall of Fame, and we started talking about food challenges. And several months went by, and now we're great friends. And the community that kind of networks from there. It's just a great group of people that have a common interest, and it's been really heartwarming to kind of have that family outside of the home where they're rooting for you, watching your videos, you're watching their videos. We critique each other and get inspired by each other. It's been a lot of fun.
Sounds like a good time all around. And during a restaurant challenge, has anyone ever walked by and they're just completely shocked at what you're doing?
Yeah, that's a pretty regular occurrence, and you just laugh, and the comments people will say, they're usually like, "Oh, good luck with that," or "I hope you brought some antacids," or yeah, it's funny. I've actually had one time where the owners mentioned there was a challenge, and a couple people drove in from out of town and just to watch the end of the challenge. And they're like, "We never seen a YouTuber in person before." I was like, "Well, this is what they look like in the wild. They're not too impressive, but here I am."
Let's talk about life outside of food challenges and the camera. What are three hobbies you enjoy when you aren't taking on food challenges?
Uh, Kid one, kid two, and kid three are my hobbies. No, the family outside of doing food challenges. Family is, I wouldn't say it's a hobby. It's definitely a lifestyle that's amazing in many different senses of the word. But for hobbies, just for me, I would say first and foremost has been hockey. I live in mid Michigan area. I was raised in northern Michigan, and I've played every year since I was 4 years old. Absolutely love it. It makes the 9 months of winter that it feels like all worth it. I'm staring out the window right now at 5 inches of snow, but still make it out once a week to play hockey. I also love to travel. It's just great getting so many different perspectives on different cultures, no matter where in the world we go to. It's funny that how different people seem to think we are. Every culture is much more similar to one another than different, and everyone seems to have a fermented beverage, some tasty meat, cheese, and vegetables wrapped in delicious breading, and a desire to sit down together as a community to enjoy those things. So it's been a wonderful time. We actually just got back from a week and a half in Costa Rica, so I ate probably more plantains, rice, and beans than I'd care to admit, but it was a phenomenal experience. And then the third thing I think that ties into traveling is just new foods, new drinks, and anything that I can bake or cook. Some of that's out of necessity, just because the sheer amount I eat and my growing family eats. But I love experimenting in the kitchen. My wife is a far better baker than I am. I grew up in the grandma school of cooking where the recipe calls for 1 to 7 cups of this, a handful of this, 3 to 5 spoonfuls of that. And 9 times out of 10, it works out really well. But, the 10th time, I'll still eat it because I eat everything. But I have to make something else for the rest of the family because they won't touch it.
So, how do you balance your family life with content creation?
That's the $1 million question. Not that I've ever earned a penny from YouTube yet, but it's there's an ebb and flow. I started the channel when I was actually on paternity leave, so I had a lot of time, but I didn't have a lot of time because during the day, my primary goal was just keeping a tiny human alive, which anyone that has ever parented realizes that's a full time job and a half. But It definitely gave me the opportunity to start loading up on that content where I could spend several hours a day editing footage, kind of learning the ropes too. There are so many different programs, and just finding your voice even is a challenge. But all the nuances of being able to record, edit, and be a great storyteller, it takes a lot of time and energy. So back in the workplace, I found it was much more difficult, believe it or not, to balance a family, newborn, and a job, and still make time for content creation. So there were early mornings, there were late nights holding the baby and doing voiceover footage. So actually, some of my earlier videos, you can actually hear my 3 and eventually 6-month-old baby will make a little chirp or a squeak when she's waking up if I'm holding her. But there's definitely that ebb and flow. There have been some weeks, like if the kids are sick, I'm scrambling late at night to try to put something together, and make sure the quality's there. So I don't want to rush the process. I want it to have a good end result. And I've noticed over the last few months that I've definitely fallen into the YouTube algorithm's push to regularly create content as much as possible. You have to get it out at the exact time every week. And that definitely gave me some pause and said, Charlie, why did you start this whole thing in the first place? And it all goes back to we're creating family moments where we're having fun, experiencing life together. We're not chasing metrics. We're not going to become the next Randy Santel with, 1 billion views, or the Beard Meats Food with millions of subscribers. You're a guy that loves to eat food and share those experiences with your family, your friends, and a couple hundred subscribers that love watching the chaos unfold. So there's definitely, I think, ebbs and flows with every season of life. So moving forward, I don't think that I'll be doing weekly postings. I'm also getting to the point where I've done enough challenges in the mid-Michigan area that it takes me almost an hour and a half, 2 hours just to get to a restaurant that's got a challenge I haven't attempted. So it's tricky to carve out several hours of the workday to go do a challenge, or on the weekends, convincing my wife to have 3 kids sit in the car for the better part of a day just so dad can devour a massive hamburger in 20 minutes.
So, what do you enjoy most about creating YouTube content? Is it the filming aspect, editing, interacting with your audience? Like, what part excites you the most?
I would say for that brief, however long I'm eating, I'd say probably the first 10 minutes of every challenge is the most exciting, and then my brain realizes what I've just done to my stomach. That's usually the most excitement that I have during it. But I would say, as part of the whole process, it really interfacing with the community, the folks that are commenting on the videos, wanting to chat and learn more, kind of see the behind the scenes. Talking to the restaurant staff before and after the challenges is also a lot of fun. Some of the owners that I've met are the most down to earth people that I've ever met, and it's wonderful being able to connect with them to promote their businesses and really just build that community. I think that seems to be the common thread that I go back to with all these food challenge adventures is creating content that's shared with people that they enjoy, and that we can all go on this adventure together.
Well, I love your passion too, because like just hearing you describe a community and just the challenges, talking to the restaurants, you could tell you're really passionate, and you could tell in your videos too. So it's really cool to see.
Thanks. Yeah, that's something that I've always tried to have as my MO, is that if I'm not loving the process as a whole, there's plenty of other things I can do with my time, and I have found that that's kind of that intersection where they always say, find something you love, find something you're good at, and if you're lucky, find something that pays. I would say I definitely am paid handsomely in apparel in the form of t-shirts, hats, the occasional sweatshirt. But just the payment of getting to connect with people, especially after coming out of COVID, where my external excitement was going to the grocery store, being able to go back into restaurants again and connect with people, because it's amazing how food brings people together. So being able to share those experiences, it lights me up. And I've rarely walked out of a restaurant feeling anything other than joy and I guess the occasional discomfort that comes with eating 3 days worth of food in one sitting.
So to wrap things up, let's look ahead. Do you plan to continue your food challenge journey long term?
Yes. The short answer is yes. Do I see me doing challenges on a weekly or even biweekly basis? Probably not. I think there's going to be a lot more challenges of opportunity where I'll go on a family trip, and especially when the kids are a little bit older, they have a little bit longer attention span. They can sit unassisted in a booth for more than 5 minutes at a time. I think there's definitely going to be an uptick there. And honestly, my 14-month-old is the second best eater in the house, so I can definitely see some team challenges happening in the future. So looking forward to that. And like I said, the channel was originally built to be kind of that repository of family moments. So I see that being kind of the family photo album, as it were, and as long as I can sustainably keep doing food challenges and keep my health on the up and up, I would say not just what's the channel going to look like in 5 years, but I kind of hope to be doing this in 50 years, where it's the occasional maybe legit family of 3 or 4 taking on a 20-pound pizza challenge, or whatever other crazy concoctions are made up. So I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon, but we'll definitely keep pumping out content. Not as fast as I have been the last year and a half, but as long as we can find challenges that excite us and people want to watch, there will be more posted. That's for sure.
Lastly, is there anything that you would like to say to the audience or just anyone listening?
I've always ended my videos with the phrase "stay hungry," and a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, he's always got an appetite. He always wants to eat dessert after his challenges too, because he's just a glutton for punishment." But elaborating on that phrase, it was a very selected phrase because it doesn't just apply to wanting to eat more. If anything, it's always having that thirst to learn a little bit more, to expand your horizons, and always kind of have that fire burning and finding your passion. So it's something I say often. I kind of just lose sight of it, and it becomes almost an automatic catchphrase. But I try to have it as a personal motto, not just to make sure my stomach is able to hold whatever food I'm about to eat, but my mind is open to absorb any kind of information or knowledge that I can use to make the world a better place. So yeah, I would say no matter what you do, where you go, stay hungry.
And Charlie, I'd like to thank you for just coming on the podcast and chatting with me today.
This has been awesome. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Seth. I really appreciate it.
That concludes our interview with Charlie from Charlie and the Chew Crew. And we'll have all of Charlie and the Chew Crew's links in the description below. And thanks for listening, everybody, as always. And we'll see you in the next episode.